The 15th topic is to use sigma notations to compute basic summations. Over here, this particular problem, type of problem, can be solved in various methods. I will go with the easiest and the simplest and the calculator method. Okay, so now before we start solving, we must know some basic things. This is the summation symbol. The intervals will be given from I to certain limit, say n. Over here it's mentioned phi. The function f of xi, the function f of x will be given. Xi means, I will tell you in a while, but before that, this delta x is like a spacing. So now, here, the x values are given. See, they are repeating at a particular spacing. That spacing is delta x. Now, you must always remember xi means in terms of ith form you should write this function. That means now let me just write it, x square plus 4x is the function. Now this x changes to xi value is basically the spacing, the initial value, that is 0.2. Xi will be, what is this initial value? 0.2 I. Okay, the initial value plus the previous value from 0.2. What is that previous value? It is 0. So whenever it starts with 0, we don't add anything. In next problem, we'll see that adding part. But over here, it starts with 0, 0.2, 0.4, and so on. So xi is that, this is it. So instead of x in this function, just put xi plus 4xi. That will be equal to 0.2 I the whole square plus 4 into 0.2 I. This is what we do. Now, over here, you need to use your calculator. Summation symbol is over here, shift and this over here. Now, instead of x square, let me keep it over here. Instead of x square, open the bracket and write it properly. 0.2 I. The I is taken as x over here in your calculator. So write alpha and x. Close the bracket, square it. This is done. Plus 4, open the bracket again, 0.2 I is x, close the bracket. It will initially open and close a bracket by itself, so no need to close it again. Next, the initial value starts with 1. And how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but they'll mention also. So this is it. Put in the calculator, you'll get the answer. Now, I have done for f of xi, but I have not finished the problem. So there is one thing, guys. Look at the function. What do they have to find? Compute sums of the form. Over here, delta x must be multiplied, and delta x is 0.2. I forgot to multiply that. So now let me do it. Please don't do the mistake which I just now did in the exam. I'll just close these brackets and I'll multiply with 0.2. And the answer would be 2.84. That is the answer. You can use the formula and do it, or directly it's the same thing. But here this was a very easy one because it started from 0. Even this will start from 0, but I'll just quickly do this in calculator. So now, over here, the first problem I just told you in detail, but we can directly do it. Shift summation. Now, what is the function? Over here, open the bracket. Always open the bracket because at the end you have to multiply delta x. So brackets are very important. So I'll write that, opening the bracket. Then 3. You don't write x. What is xi? That is 0.4. 0.4 I the whole. No, it's just that much. Sorry. I thought it was squared. Now, what next? Plus 5. That is it, because it starts from 0, 0.4, 0.8. That's it. Now close the bracket and multiply with delta xi, that is 0.4. So that is what I need to write. Open the bracket, 3, multiply again, open the bracket, 0.4 I is alpha x, close the bracket, plus phi, again close the bracket and multiply with 0.4. Now this is it. Sorry, see, now there's a syntax error because I have not put the intervals. That is 1 to 5. And now the answer over here is 17.2. And yes, that's it. So whenever it starts from 0, it's a very simple. But now let's see another problem. Yes, this is a good example. Look at this problem. It doesn't start with 0. It starts with 2. So your xi value changes. It's same thing. What is the limit over here? What is the spacing or the step? That is 0.1 I. Okay. You need to add the value where it started from. That is, just see whatever is the first value, subtract this delta x. That is 2.1 minus 0.1 is equal to 2. This is the only difference. Now you are supposed to substitute 0.1 I plus 2 the whole square minus 2 instead of x. This is the thing. Why? Because it's not starting from 2. And don't forget to multiply delta x. Let us do this quickly. Summation over here, shift and the symbol over here. Open the bracket, 4 multiply by, again open the bracket, 0.1. I is alpha x in this, plus 2, close the bracket and square it, minus 2, and now I close the bracket and I multiply it with delta x, that is 0.1 again. So now the limits over here, it's from 1 till 10. So that's it. And the answer I get is 24.34. Yes, that's the correct answer. Same way, do the other problems. Okay, this is the last one, so I'll anyways do this quickly. Okay, let me do this because, it starts at 2.05 and the limit is 1. So now, xi is equal to, what is the step? 0.1 I plus the previous value. Now, some of you might think it's 2. No, it's not 2. It is 1.95. Why? Because you have to subtract 0.1 from this value. It's 1.95 and multiply this with delta x, that is 0.1. This will be in summation. So now we just do the same thing. Shift, and over here what happens is, open the bracket, 0.I alpha x plus 1.95, close the bracket, multiply. Okay, sorry, I have not written this properly. Let me just make this clear. See, xi is this value. You need to substitute in this equation, okay? Now, this much is cube. See, because it's cube, x cube. Now, add this with 4. Close the bracket and now multiply. So, have I used the brackets? No, I have not used the brackets properly. I open a bracket. Again, I open and then that closes. And now the one more also closes. Now multiply it with delta x, that is 0.1. The limits are from 1 till 10, that is mentioned always in the question. And the answer is 20.24. Let's check. Yes, that's the correct answer. As you can see, this is the correct answer. So this is how you basically solve um, sigma notation, basic computations using sigma notations.